and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we are talking about the recent campaign slip up of Nikki Haley. Now, yeah, uh, in a recent campaign event, someone asked her a question. Do you know the cause of the Civil War? And of course, Nikki danced around the answer. She goes, "Oh, it's states' rights, government control." A lot of the answers you hear, yeah. She declined to specify slavery was a cause of the Civil War on Wednesday, wading into an area of history that continues to reverberate and in some ways define U.S. politics after 160 years after it concluded. And she would later show up and say, "Yeah, I know it was about slavery." And yeah, uh, she had to go back and apologize and say, "Yes, I know it was about slavery." I don't think she technically said, "I'm sorry," but she tried to apologize without apologizing. Yeah. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley declined to mention slavery when asked by a voter on Wednesday evening what caused the Civil War, arguing that it came down to the role of government, which is something you hear from the modern day Republican Party. They're like, "Always beware of big government." Yeah, she notably did not mention slavery. And historians agree this is the main cause of the Civil War. This is from the American Battlefield Trust, battlefields.org. They provide the declaration of causes of seceding states for 5 particular states: Georgia, Mississippi, South Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. South Carolina being the former state Nikki Haley was governor of. And every single one of them mentions slavery. They make sure it is included in there in some form or another. Always. If you look through every single one of them, they mention slavery. You know, because what states' rights are you talking about? Their right to own slaves, to go into other states and hunt them back down and bring them back to their owners? I mean, think about it. This is clear as a bell. It's the defining cause of secession, thus the Civil War. Were there other causes? Yes, but they're usually in a minor role. I mean, I've done a video talking about the secession of states before. But yeah, every one of them, they mention slavery in some way or another as being one of the causes. Yeah. The people of Georgia, having dissolved their political connection with the government of the United States of America, present to their Confederates and the world the causes which have led to separation. For the past 10 years, we have had numerous and serious causes of complaint against our non slaveholding Confederate states. They don't use any other term. They're defining everybody by slaveholding or not slaveholding, with reference to the subject of African slavery. They say they have endeavored to weaken our security or disturb our domestic peace and tranquility. And persistently refuse to comply with their express constitutional obligations to us in reference to that property. I mean, that's almost at the very beginning for Georgia. Mississippi. Let's see. A momentous step for the state is taken to the dissolving of the connection with the government which we have so long formed a part. It is but just that we should declare prominent reasons which have induced our cause. Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery. Right there. And written down. The greatest material interest of the world. Because so much of the base of the Confederate States was agrarian, and thus slavery was a huge part of it. South Carolina, the people of South Carolina, in convention assembled on the day of April AD 1826, day of April AD 1852, declared that the frequent violations of the Constitution of the United States by the federal government and encroachments upon the reserved rights of the states fully justified this state in then withdrawing from the federal union, but in deference to the opinions and wishes of other slaveholding states, she forbore at that time to exercise this right. Since that time, these encroachments have continued to increase, and further forbearance ceases to be a virtue. So yeah, it's again identification with being a slave holding state. This is how they identified themselves. Texas, the government of the United States, by certain joint resolutions bearing date the first day of March to the year AD 1845, proposed the Republic of Texas, then a free, sovereign, and independent nation, the annexation of the latter to the former as one of the co-equal states thereof. The people of Texas, by deputies in convention assembled on the 4th day of July of the same year, assented to the accepted said proposals and formed the Constitution for the proposed state, upon which the 29th day of December is the same year said state was formally admitted to the Confederated Union. Texas abandoned her separate national existence and consented to become one of the Confederate Union to promote her welfare, ensure domestic tranquility, and secure more substantially the blessings of peace and liberty to her people. She is received into the Confederacy by her own Constitution, under the guarantee that the federal Constitution and the compact of annexation that she should enjoy these blessings. She has received as a commonwealth holding, maintaining, and protecting the institution known as Negro slavery. That was a little further in, but it's right there. And of course, Virginia. The people of Virginia, in their ratification of the Constitution of the United States of America, adopted by them in convention on the 25th day of June, in the year of our Lord, 1788, having declared that the powers granted under said Constitution were derived from the people of the United States and the right and might be resumed whensoever the same should be perverted to their injury and oppression, the federal government, having perverted said powers not only to the injury of the people of Virginia, but to the oppression of the southern slaveholding states. You know, they saw it as an attack on them because they held slaves. And again, Nikki knows this. Yes, I know it was about slavery. She's had to go back and change what she said because she knows the facts. But she tried her best to bounce around it. Even when she was governor, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley signed into law a bill that removes the Confederate battle flag from the Capitol. She knows. I don't know why it did that, but whatever. But yeah, and then this is nothing new, but there's a growing movement of white supremacy and neo-Nazism in the United States, especially on the far right, the Republican Party. Michigan's GOP's Holocaust post shows growing far-right extremism in the party, experts say. It's an anti-American authoritarian movement that's wearing the masquerade of a political party. Exactly. You know, they want to take away freedoms and rights and be authoritarian. This has been shown. Trump said he would be a dictator on day one. He said he would go back to the government after that, but that's still wrong. That is nothing we should be cheering. The whole purpose of the birth of the United States was to expunge leadership by dictatorial and monarchical rule. How white supremacy returned to mainstream politics. Yeah, this is from the Center for American Progress. This report provides a guide to identifying and calling out the white nationalist ideas that are infiltrating U.S. political discourse. White nationalist hate groups have grown 55% in the Trump era. And this was in 2020. Articles more than 3 years old. Yeah. Nikki Haley was specifically answered that way because she was calling out, trying to get the very neo-Nazi and white supremacist growing base in the Republican Party. I mean, it's pretty fucking clear. Should be to everyone else. But there's those who just don't care. They won't necessarily say it out loud. Oh, we want it to be racist. But that's where we're going. Hell, there's some that probably do. Yeah, we believe these people have a much better right than others. That is where we are going when it comes to the especially the Republican Party. Again, it's not saying, oh, Democrats are the great choice. Fuck Democrats. Fuck Democrats. But especially, fuck Republicans. Even more so. We're left with shit on a plate and shit in a cup as fucking choices. Honestly, can we have somebody who says, I believe that Americans have the right to health care. They have the right to exist on equal footings as others. There should be no individual who has so much wealth that he could donate and make possible certain things in the U.S. and still be absurdly rich. I mean, this is not rocket science. It isn't. But, oh my God. Anyway, I'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.